here supported the movement to legalize marijuana in Washington State? So a few people, clearly. I voted yes on 502. I supported the movement, and I supported the movement not because I'm a pothead, I actually don't smoke weed, but the economic argument made sense to me. It resonated with me. And because I work in the media, I am hypersensitive to the way we decide to mold certain issues, certain political issues. We tend to try and shape the narrative a bit. And in the case of the legalization of marijuana, it seems like the media was a little bit unfair. And the reason I say that is you can look at this study that came out just a few months ago. It was a study that was being reported by all these media outlets that basically said that casual use of marijuana leads to brain shrinkage. Brain shrinkage. Now, the majority of people who smoke weed tend to be males. When you say shrinkage, we kind of freak out a little bit. And that was the point. They were trying to alarm you into not smoking weed. Now, I don't care if you smoke weed or not. I just care that you get the facts. Every single night on my radio show on Cairo Radio, I have one simple goal. It's to try to help people become better consumers of news. And there's one really, really simple thing to do to become that better consumer of news. It's to fact check absolutely everything. Fact check everything you're told, everything you hear, everything you read. If it's coming from the media, you have to fact check it because as it turns out, we tend to be sometimes lazy and we're all biased. Now, had you fact checked that marijuana study, you would have learned two things. Number one, they only looked at 20 people in this study. Only 20 people. So it wasn't exactly a huge sample size. It was a very small sample size. But number two, and what shocked me the most, and what really annoyed me the most, was how they defined casual. Now, of those 20, 4 people smoked over 20 joints a week. That's not casual. That is my college roommate. That is addiction. So you have to fact check everything. Now, I knew that those numbers, that statistic was a little suspect. But what's more important is to fact check everything, especially the things you agree with in your heart, in your soul, in your head. You say, that's got to be right. You got to fact check that. Now, when I went to school at Occidental College from 2000 to 2004, I was given a statistic, 1 in 5, 20%. 20% of college girls would get sexually assaulted or raped while on college campus. It was a very disgusting and disturbing statistic. And we still hear that today. And so part of me says, well, nothing has gotten better since I went to school. You fact check it. And then you see that that is actually based, that number, that statistic is based on an outdated study, a 20-year-old study that was done online between 4,500 students at just 2 college campuses. Now, when you start to fact check and you look at some of the more recent studies, what you find out is that number is more like 10%. Now, we have been told that we live in a country with a gun violence epidemic. Millions of people are being shot and killed on the street in this country every single year. But then you start to fact check that particular narrative, and the statistics don't exactly hold up. Since 1981, there has been a steady decline in gun murders in this country. And at the exact same time that that was happening, gun manufacturing went up and gun ownership went up. We do not live in a country with a gun violence epidemic. Now, Mayor Ed Murray came out after the SPU shooting, and he used that same language, and it was reported in the media, and it was not checked. Seattle lives in a gun violence epidemic society. Over the last 10 years, gun violence has actually gone down. The statistics are pretty staggering. 77 cents on the dollar. We are told that women make 77 cents on the dollar, but as it turns out, that number is a fairy tale. That number is based on very old census data that looked at all jobs in all industries, regardless of hours worked. Had you fact-checked that, the number isn't as bad. It's about 95 cents. You have to fact-check everything, especially the things you agree with. It doesn't mean you can't fight the fight on those particular issues. It simply means you have the proper knowledge and the facts to fight that. Now, only you can be a better consumer of news, and that means fact-checking everything, and some of you are going to be really pissed off at me right now. I have a confession. I totally made up some statistics tonight. I just made them up. I absolutely lied. Now, you have to get in the habit of fact-checking everything that comes from the media. I host the Jason Rantz Show. I'm a member of the media. I'm telling you to fact-check me. Thank you very much.